Greetings. Welcome to Film Gazers, a podcast focusing on the science fiction, horror, fantasy trinity, and 20th century entertainment. I'm Steph.
I'm Jess. We're cousins / besties. Join us as we reminisce, discuss, and review films from our childhood.
Bienvenue.
Welcome
to Animation April. We had a really fun Mary Jane March.
Mm-hmm.
We interviewed a director.
A real life director.
Yes. Of The Last Deal. Check it out. It's on Tubi. Thanks to everybody who's listened and gave us some feedback so far.
Yes. Very exciting.
Very exciting. Very cool. So we appreciate that. And yeah, check that out. That was the last episode that aired if you were interested and you missed it.
In case you missed it.
But now we begin Animation April.
Underrated animated.
Underrated animated. That's what we should have been the entire thing.
It's fine.
Today's Troll in Central Park. And then we will follow up with The Swan Princess. Which it turns out I picked because I actually got it confused with The Princess and the Goblin.
Which, as soon as she said that, I had like a core memory unleashed.
Yeah.
I was like, forgot about that.
It's like that Celine Dion song. It's all coming back to me now.
It's all coming back to me.
So yeah, we're going to be a little lighthearted this month. Then we're going to go into May. I finally came up with a theme, y'all. Jess has been killing it and been picking shit out since like the frickin' fall.
The frickin' fall.
And so we're going to do You Talking to May?
Said with hand gestures.
Yes. And it's going to be gangster-ish films.
Mm-hmm. Mob,
gangster, yeah, anything kind of like along that lines. And we're torn between a few. We also know it's going to be a pretty busy month for us. And we have some stuff going on with, it gets season and everything. So we don't want to do anything that would be like your classic. We're not going to do Goodfellas. Mm-hmm. Like, everyone knows Goodfellas is a great movie. We don't have to talk about that.
And it's also extremely long.
Extremely long. And I've seen it so many times, but I'm like, no, I cannot commit to that.
I can't. No.
So we're torn. If you listen to this anytime before probably really like end of April, let us know if you would prefer the great, Jay Moore comedy?
That was, I forgot.
Mafia. Get Shorty, maybe. We both don't have super big memories of that one.
Mm-hmm.
Classic My Cousin Vinny.
Yes. Joe Pesci. Real nice.
And then it dawned on us, what if we did analyze this and that? Or perhaps just the first film. So yeah, if you want to have any say in that or opinion, let us know at Film Gazers. And if you're on the Discord at Film Gazers Podcast Community, tell us there. Or join it.
Even better. Join it.
Better. So with that, what have you been watching? What have you been doing?
I've been, actually last night, me and my mom watched, it's called Holland. With Nicole Kidman.
I have not heard of that one.
It's kind of like a thriller.
Oh, okay.
It had an interesting, I didn't see the ending coming at first. I knew something was going to happen, but I was like, oh, okay, that's cool the way they went with it. But also it was kind of, when it ended, you're kind of like, I feel like that was kind of a waste of my 2 hours.
Oh, yeah. Little, let down almost.
I mean, it had some...
Or was it, just undramatic? Or, kind of, where unclimactic, I guess?
It was a little anticlimactic, but it was also a little, I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be, is this supernatural? Or is this just... he the, luckiest man in the world.
It's open to interpretation, perhaps.
Maybe, because it did have some so-called interesting imagery or whatever, and I was like, this is obviously a dream sequence, and then it was a dream sequence.
Yeah.
And I was like, it had a lot of that.
Oh.
And I was like, I don't...
okay.
Yeah, I was like, it was okay. I wouldn't watch it again. And I still think that in every movie Nicole Kidman's in, they put some kind of filter over her.
Oh.
It's weird.
Maybe that's just her face.
Maybe it is.
What if she's AI?
Maybe she is a Stepford wife.
So besides that slight whatever.
Yeah, that whatever
watch.
movie. I've been watching The Big Bang Theory. It's a first time watch for me.
Oh, okay. You've never seen it?
I've never seen it.
Oh,
before.
wow. I'm familiar. I've seen it once in its like entirety. I did watch it. Sometimes it was really annoying, and then sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, that was funny.
It's cute.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's really cute.
Mm-hmm.
I can see why I had the following it did.
Yeah, I mean, it has that like big sitcom appeal.
Yeah,
like
Friends or whatever.
I'm always perplexed by the 2.5 Men one.
I am too, because it's made by the same creator.
Yeah, and I'm like, although there's some things, like I said, some of the episodes I remember The Big Bang Theory, I'm like, ugh, like where I said was like that with 2.5 Men was garbage in my opinion.
I didn't like it,
and I love John Cryer. Like, you know, like I like Charlie Sheen actually. Like he's crazy. Like we won't. This isn't about that, so I will move on.
Yeah, there was some parts where you're like, that's gross.
But I felt like Big Bang Theory was like, a little. I don't know. I guess it's still kind of gross certain times, but it was fine. Yeah, and harmless others.
Like I think it's cute. Sheldon's my favorite, actually. So I've been watching that and still been trucking through Supernatural.
What season are you on now?
I'm still on season 5 because I took a break to watch The Big Bang Theory. Yeah. Just because I've been doing like other stuff, and that way I can have it. It's more of a background show than Supernatural. You're like, all right, which hell is he going to now? Where's Dean going now? I'm not complaining. I like it. It's just a follow along show.
Yeah, you're like, I had shit to do.
Yeah.
We watched Kingpin one night. That was my choice, I believe.
With Woody Harrelson?
Yeah.
Nice.
And Randy Quaid. My mind had totally blanked out that he was the Amish kid. Yeah, like, and I was like, well, he's not a kid in this. Then I realized, he is supposed to be a grown man. It's been so long since I'd seen it. In my head, he really was like a young guy.
And I was so funny.
I was like, oh my god, it's Cousin Eddie. I was like, I forgot it was him.
That's hilarious. You forgot.
I did. I totally forgot.
I watched the shit out of it.
I watched it so much, and I'm like, how did I forget it was?
That's so funny.
But yeah, it was still perfect. Like, it was still so funny.
Because it's Farley Brothers.
Yeah, and I gave it 4 stars. I don't care. Like, I loved
hilarious.
it. It was very funny. And Andrew, I don't think he had seen it in a while, and he was just like, I don't think he likes it as much as I do, but... Were
you dying laughing?
I was still laughing out loud during certain parts. And Bill Murray with the comb-overs. Oh my gosh. So, and Woody Harrelson. He's so gross.
He's so gross.
Yeah, so I loved it. I think it's a great comedy. We also watched Sharknado. I finally watched it.
How was it?
Not good.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like the campy kind of good that, like it has this like notoriety, like, know, and I
infamous
thought, kind of thing. And it was like, it was so funny, but it really wasn't. Tara Reid is in it.
Oh, well,
very small appearance, but the actual like main character, it was rough. It was real, even for a sci-fi movie. I feel like, but I don't know. Looking back, I'm like, all those movies are pretty bad. Like this, probably
they came by on Sci-Fi Channel. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but I watched it. I did it
all the way through.
All the way through.
Chain of Quitter, guys.
Yeah. And then, of course, we've been watching our animes.
Mm-hmm.
Got The Ancient Magus' Bride. Andrew's been watching one. I don't even know the name of it. I'm like, he's way later in it, so I'm not like paying that close of attention. And then we've also been watching Solo Leveling. It's like the kind of show that's everyone's like watching and talking about. It's really good though. There's a reason why. So if you're into anime, definitely watch those. And then we've gotten into Frasier.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, we started
it's about time.
I was like, Jessica's always talking about it, so
is
watching
it as funny as?
It is. Yeah, it has some. It's first season, like I'm starting from the beginning.
Yeah.
I just finished the one where Lilith shows up and like finds his letter, but it was like from the year ago or whatever. And Andrew and I still can't understand. We're like, why did he move across the country and leave his child with Lilith? Like,
I think it was for the job.
It was specifically for the job? Okay, that's
and
what
to be closer to his family, because his family was there.
Oh, okay.
That's where Niles and his dad lived.
I know. That's where it's still, to me, I'm like, really, bro? Because, like, in that moment when Lilith, like, I'm a single mom, you know, like, you're literally across the country. Like, yeah, I know, like, Frasier, like, financially helps them, sure, but... You know, like, I
Frasier is a very selfish man.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, I couldn't remember, I guess, exactly, like, what kind of character, he was sometimes. I knew he's snooty, but, like, I forgot he had a son.
He's, like, narcissistic noble. Like, he thinks very highly of himself. He thinks he always does the right things. And then everybody reminds him that he doesn't. Yeah,
it's, like, sometimes painful to watch. So, in between that, I'm watching Steven Universe.
Nice.
And starting that from the beginning. I never got to finish it. I got pretty far, but it was literally like as it was coming out. So it gets to that point where I catch up with something, and then I just take an extended break. And I don't watch it for a while. So I'm rewatching that, and it's so cute. It's just such a good cartoon. And you know I love a good cartoon, and it's Animation April, so I figured I'd just jump into it.
You know what? I was told of a new one on Netflix called The Unicorn Academy. And it's where girls and boys, like, they bond with a unicorn and then they become, like, the riders of this unicorn. And the unicorn has special powers. Like, one of the unicorns' name is Storm.
That sounds like a you show.
I was like, what? I was like, what is this streaming on? I was like, so I think I'm going to start watching that.
There you go. So that's what we've been up to. Nothing too crazy.
Autopilot for me.
Autopilot. It really has been at the start of this month for sure. So we're gonna try to entertain you as best we can.
Yes.
On the weekends, that's when the autopilot turns off.
Yes. I feel like that's acceptable.
Right?
Everybody gotta get through and then entertain.
I couldn't think of anything cool that rhymed with that because that's what I was gonna do.
Get through and
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo.
I'm just gonna start scatting.
Scooby-Doo.
There you go. In this episode, we watched 1994's A Troll in Central Park. Which, by the way, when I was writing this note, something was playing in the background that had said America, and I had typed it originally as A Troll in Central America.
It's a totally different movie.
I was like, oh, that would be an interesting movie, too. So, it was directed by Don Bluth and Gary Goldman. The screenplay was by Stu Krieger. Story by Don Bluth, Gary Goldman, John Pomeroy, TJ Kunster, and Stu Krieger. It was produced by Don Bluth, Gary Goldman, and John Pomeroy. It was starring Dom DeLuise, Cloris Leachman, Charles Nelson Riley, Philip Glasser, Tawny Sunshine Glover, Haley Mills, and Jonathan Price. It was edited by Fiona Traylor, music by Robert Folk. It was released October 7th, 1994. The running time is 76 minutes. The budget was $23 million, and the box office was $71,000. So it was a complete flop.
Right.
Basically.
Well.
So the UK version was called Stanley's Magic Garden. I don't like that very much. I think Troll in Central Park worked better.
Well, I guess they're like, well, it's UK. They might not watch it if it's a New York movie.
Or know specifically what that is. I feel like, though, it's a pretty international landmark at this time.
I would assume so.
Yeah, So the production of the film began in 1990 following the near completion of Rock-a-Doodle.
Which is, I remember, total classic.
Okay, so that's the thing with Don Bluth movies. I have a lot of fond memories of them. I loved Rock-a-Doodle. Apparently it's, hated.
Really?
Yeah. When I was getting into the facts and everything with this movie, Spoiler alert, everyone fucking hates it. As well as people were talking mad shit about Rockadoodle. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but his dookiness or whatever, like in Rockadoodle, the little owl, like it's so funny. Like it's so goofy. When I was a kid, I loved it.
Yeah,
and I just like, that was the audience.
The female...
Goldie. I named my dog Goldie. Like,
was so cool. She was like so Marilyn
cute.
Monroe, kind of.
I know. And he was
like
Elvis. It was...
Chanticleer.
Chanticleer.
Yeah, I fucking loved it. And it had a mix of like real world and animation, and they blended it seamlessly.
Yes, like a lot of movies during that time, like Page Master,
Space Jam.
Yeah, like tons of them.
Page Master, I totally forgot about that movie.
Yeah.
That was a good one too.
I don't know. I think a lot of these reviews, I understand, because some of their criticisms are, let's be honest, completely valid, but it feels like there's almost like a venom spewed with it, but because it's like I'm like, it's a kid's movie. Like, if it's like a movie for adults, that's one thing. I'm like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, do your thing, whatever. But I'm like, the audience is like very small children.
Right.
When they're like, because someone's complaint was like, the story is so simple. I'm like, yeah, because like, I feel like literal toddlers, like, I feel like that's who this movie's for. Of course it should be, fairly simple.
To keep up with, yeah.
Like, yeah, so I just think some of the criticism is just too extreme for, like, what I thought was the intended audience. But I don't know, like, I guess the intended audience they thought was maybe slightly older kids, like, on more of a,
I don't remember it being a simple plot. I felt like it had all kinds of moving parts.
Not according to some of the critics.
Well, were they adults when they watched it for the first time?
That's what I'm wondering. Like, I don't know. So I'm like, I don't know. I was like, my household, those are like replayed for good parts of my early childhood.
Yeah.
So Buddy Hackett and Robert Morley were originally considered for the roles of Stanley and King Lort, but they were replaced by Dom DeLuise and Charles Nelson Riley. So the film was completed in 1992, but it was not released until 94. And this was because they decided that they wanted to release Thumbelina first. Because they had like this two deal, or, they were doing those two films back to back. And they just basically flip-flopped them in the terms of the release. So according to Don Bluth, Cloris Leachman arrived in the recording studio with a canister of her homemade barley soup. And when she would see any crew members eating, like, really unhealthy meals, like burgers, and Bluth would have chocolate eclairs, she literally snatched it out of his hands and threw it in the trash. And so this established one of the things they use in Queen Gnorga's character, a screaming monster who'd steal your chocolate eclair. That was based on Cloris Leachman's actual behavior.
Wow. So she was a delight.
I mean, I love Cloris Leachman. Oh, this was to go on what we were talking about, though. Is fucking Rotten Tomatoes only has a 14%, and then ranked behind a 6% at Rockadoodle.
Fuck them.
Yeah. Because it says, because it was like also one of Bluth's other least received projects, holding a 20% audience score. Although the film score among a lot of the community is higher at a 46%. Which I'm like, okay, see, that's a little more whatever, but I think
6%.
Like, I think that's I think people are going
just
really
based on the
hard.
music alone. I feel like, and like the animation,
especially for Rockadoodle.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's so
the animation
crazy
was beautiful.
I know. Now I'm like, we should have fucking did Rockadoodle.
I know. I kind of forgot about it, to be honest with you, until I was looking at Don Bluth animations, and I was like,
oh yeah, I know.
I guess because I always sing from Troll in Central Park. Like, that song always pops in my head, so I guess that's why it was fresh in my mind.
Oh, that's funny. No, because a lot of these songs I totally forgot about.
It's the Welcome to My World.
That one.
When people complain,
I realize that was from this one.
Oh, no, I knew it was from Troll in Central Park.
For some reason, I was thinking it was like one of the American Tales or something.
Oh, that's funny. No.
Yeah.
It's probably because the troll looks like Fievel.
A little bit. So, in a July 2001 issue of Toon Talk, Bluth did admit that Troll in Central Park was a terrible film and apologized for how badly it turned out.
Don Bluth said that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, because I was like, I mean, yeah, it's a little rough around the edges and certain things, but again, I was thinking about, I said like a toddler-aged child getting a little spectacle, and it has some sing-songs and everything's absolutely green.
Yeah. Absolutely green.
I get when people might think it's terrible. So what Bluth said was, as it is never a good thing that a child is born prematurely, so it is with producing a film. Development of a script is like the development of a child in the womb. It takes time and must be done right. Building the movie taught us this lesson, but indeed the hard way. I tell you all this in the hope that you might benefit from our foolish mistakes. Scrutinizing your own work is so important, but let's face it, we are all afraid of not measuring up, so we stubbornly cling to our own opinions, shutting out all others. Stanley could have been a richer character with more levels to his personality. Blues has said that had they not rushed their production, he would have wanted Stanley to be a much more darker character with more abundant flaws. Mm. So I think they were thinking of, like, in hindsight, and if they would have took their time more, because apparently production of the film was kind of rushed. So they shortened it, and Warner Bros. Was hoping it would inspire more spontaneity among the crew. And it ended up being, like, one of the worst reviews of his work.
Never mind.
Yeah, and I could see, after reading this is where I'm like, this is what makes it a worse movie, knowing what it could have been. Mm-hmm. Because wouldn't it have been cool that Stanley had, like, two sides where he was still kind of dark and had, certain things about him.
More troll-like,
yeah, and his quest for, like, wanting his patch of green. But what is he going to do for it? Like, holding his green thumb and, like, choking people with ivy or something. Like, that would be interesting, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's still a kid's movie also.
Because everyone talks about how his earlier work is all darker. And everyone likes Secret of Nim, Land Before Time, All Dogs Go to Heaven. Mm-hmm. That's, like, I guess his holy trinity, if you will. And
what about American Tail?
I didn't. Surprisingly, a lot of people do not talk about that when I was reading kind of these general articles too about Bluth.
Like, that one's pretty dark.
Yeah.
And I love Five Will Goes West.
I know.
That was one of my favorite.
All about that one too when I was a kid. Like, they're all pretty good. Oh, and Land Before Time. Did I say that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so like I said, these are very people very much have opinions on Don Bluth movies. It seems like. And the co-writer and co-director, Gary Goldman, has also said during interviews that he thinks they did so poorly, specifically at the box office, was that there was very limited release and promotion. Warner Brothers essentially didn't like the movie and have confidence in it either. So, but it's kind of their own doing.
They rushed it.
Yeah, pushing to be spontaneous. It's like, no, they have to have a plan.
Right.
Flesh things out.
It's animation. Like, that takes time.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I got most of this from donblues.fandom.com. It's basically a whole Don Bluth wiki. I couldn't find a ton of, like, behind-the-scenes stuff about this movie. It was just more of a massive amount of reviews talking about how weird or how much they hated this movie. People have even said it's, like, some of the worst character design they've ever seen. Like, people were going hard on it. Like I said, in my opinion, just too hard. Yeah. Like, I'm like, it's not that bad, guys. Like, I have probably seen a worse cartoon. Like, have you seen any of the, like, multitude of the other Land Before Time sequels? Like,
right.
Like, or even some of the Disney sequels are awful. Like, so.
Which one of the Aladdin ones?
Yeah, so at least this one, like I said, it had pretty enough animation in my opinion. The background stuff was beautiful. Yeah. Like, I loved all the background animation. But yeah, there's, like, now I forgot to write down what review I read this from, but someone said, while I have so much respect for Bluth, there is no defending this film. Not only is this one of the worst animated films released in the 90s, but this is also one of the worst animated films I've ever seen.
You're like, that's a little harsh.
I know, that's where I was like, I feel like I've seen worse.
Yeah, I've seen way worse.
So with that, we're going to go ahead and just take off with the You Googled Summary, Jess.
I shall take it away. After being banished from his grim kingdom, Stanley, an amiable troll with a magical talent for growing greenery, ends up in Central Park. Struggling to adapt to his unfamiliar surroundings, Stanley is befriended by young Gus and his little sister Rosie. Soon, however, the evil troll queen, Gnorga, sets out to make Stanley's life miserable, endangering both him and the children.
Okay, so we've been talking about our recollections pretty much of this film the whole time. We didn't remember it being that bad. Like, as children, we enjoyed it. It was fine. Like, it did seem magical in elements. It was very simple to follow. Almost, it was way more simple than I remembered.
Right.
Like, I did think that there was more to it a little bit. Yeah. And, yeah, I guess maybe that was my memory just... because I had thought I liked it, that, yeah, maybe it was a little more interesting, yes, than it was.
Yeah.
But again, I am viewing this film as, like, it was meant for someone Rosie's age.
Right.
You know? Like... or
even Gus's age. You know?
Yeah,
yeah.
He's
like 5.
Yeah, like, I think they're just very, very... young audience, and I think
and what's wrong with that?
Yeah, because it's nothing like there's nothing too much at stake. Like, it does. It still gets pretty dark. I mean, he turns into fucking stone in the end for a little while. Like, so that's fairly dark. But other than that, though, even the Gnorga, like, when they are fighting, it's not as severe as I thought I had remembered it being. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think people were going too hard. Even after this rewatch, I'm like, it was fine. Like, yeah, it wasn't the best one.
It was dumb, but it was fine.
Exactly. It was fine.
Yeah. It was funny when she started singing her song, The Queen of Mean.
It came back to me. I was like, oh, I forgot about this.
I had a memory of hearing that in an ad or trailer, like, for this movie on a VHS.
Was it on the Little Giants? They mentioned that they did play this trailer. They had one cut version where it didn't spoil, like, kind of anything. Mm-hmm. And then they had another one that did, but it was like the one that had the spoilers was on Little Giants. And they had, like, edited ones on a couple of more from that era where I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. It was, I don't think it was Little Giants, but it was one of them. It was Thumbelina then, yeah. Because all I remember is, I'm Gnorga, the Queen of Mean. It feels delicious to be so vicious. I was like, Stephanie's Gnorga.
Oh my gosh, I do want to cosplay in her little battle outfit. That was badass, and you know it. Like, the winged fucking, like, crown thing. Like, I feel like Lady Gaga would wear that. Mm-hmm. Like, her little...
Like, bring back Gnorga.
Like, bra. Yeah, like... Gnorga is a bitch, though, like, and not necessarily in a good way, but I love Cloris Leachman. Yeah. I think she's fucking hilarious. Yeah. Like, I always have. And you can tell she had so much fun doing this voice in this song.
She did not hold back.
I mean, it's the funnest part of the movie, let's be honest. Her and Charles Nelson Riley with King Lord is funny. So in the beginning, it's established immediately, Gnorga, Queen of Mean, doesn't like fucking flowers.
Mm-hmm. Don't have them in her presence.
Don't even. And Stanley's ass is just running through town with some water and their little goblin underlayer. And everything's gray and dark.
And rocky.
But he has a magical garden inside his home. And he fucks up and he grows a flower too big. Right under... the queen's nose.
Yeah, but that was a beautiful rose.
It was drawn. Like, that, like, it's... I don't know how people are, like, so shit on the animation in this one either, from what I was reading. Because I'm like, there was still great scenes in it.
Yeah.
And that was one of them. But Queen Gnorga ain't about that. And King Lort, though, kind of saves his ass. He's like, oh, I know of a place where everything is just gray and stone, even worse than here. And we can send him there and let him suffer. And she's like, yeah, I kind of like that.
It's funny because my recollection was that they just lived underground the Earth. Not that they came from outer space.
Wait, were they from outer space?
Like, it sent them... You saw, like, the Earth.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it's like they went through space and you looked down and saw the Earth.
Oh, I guess I, like, blinked and
when he was in, like, that cannonball thing.
Oh, I thought he was, like, being launched from, like, inside the Earth, I guess.
I don't know. Maybe that was, but it looked like they were coming from outer space. But maybe it was from inside the Earth. But that's not what it looked like to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I was like, they're alien trolls?
I'm not sure. I missed that part.
So are they coming from another dimension with her little crystal portal?
Maybe.
I was like, she was a pretty badass witch.
I mean,
doing
she
her
was.
doing her little spells. That cry scene.
Oh, with the little boy.
Yeah. I mean, that was...
And he won't stop crying.
Definitely Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, it did have a lot of... And I guess that's why a lot of people hate it, is I think they think it's lazy. And I guess I can see that side of it. Because even in the first opening... scene with Gnorga getting ready, she's basically doing Ursula
with the pop.
Yeah, getting together or getting ready, you know, in her hair and everything.
Lipstick, yeah.
So, but it's like, is it ripping it off, or was it supposed to be like almost like a satire?
Well, what year did those movies come out though? Were they all
before?
Around the same time?
I think that. Okay. Yeah, because Little Mermaid
was
came
like
out in 89. Yeah, and this was 90. Well, and it was like made in 90 or 92, maybe, I don't know. So yeah, it was right around at the same time. I'll give the critics that.
Yeah.
When we do meet the children, I love that the parents, like the mom has a super like continental accent, and then the dad almost sounds like a Southern lawyer.
Right. And well, I mean, that was Haley Mills. The mother. Yeah. Oh, my babies. I'll be back later, my babies.
I've got a showing on Park Avenue.
Mm-hmm. I was like, well, I think your maid is more of a maid than a nanny.
Right.
I think you need to establish that first before leaving a 5-year-old in charge of your baby.
I don't think they cared. Oh, so eventually, though, yeah, so the kids sneak out. They're like, fuck this, we're going to go do what we want. Our parents are too busy. Work. And he brings his little speedboat, and it's, I mean, like I said, there is a storyline. Like, it's not super fleshed out. They don't have a bunch of depth.
Mm-hmm. But luckily, they came upon a troll with their boat and not a clown.
Exactly. Could have been a red balloon.
Yeah, could have.
They dodged a bullet. I did like the one scene on the flowers, which also look like they're a little bit from, like, Fantasia and, like, Alice in Wonderland and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the talking flowers. Yeah. Doing their little dance.
But they do this, they go, let's give her the old soft pedal. I thought that was funny. Like, it was stupid, but it was funny.
Yeah.
Like, I
was like, they're like New York flowers.
Yeah, like... And they do a soft shoe, like, and it's called a soft pedal. Come on, that's silly. That's like, cute. I liked it. I thought, like, it was a G-rated, like, harmless, old school joke. But, I mean, no kid would probably, I guess, get it now. I don't know. But I like the little things like that. And then they have the makeover with his little swamp area, which I even loved before.
Mm-hmm, right.
They made it really beautiful. And I think that was what was magical about it and why we liked it as kids, you know? Yes, Stanley is very one-dimensional. You just know he's just a nice troll.
Yeah.
But he kind of acts like there's probably other nice trolls, too, that exist. They're just better at pretending not to be.
Right. They're just in hiding.
Yeah.
Or they said they're good trolls, or like trolls are turning good left and right, is what they said later on. So
yeah, maybe
something occurs and maybe they see a flower and they turn good. Maybe it's they
experience joy.
Yeah.
They're like, there's color everywhere.
Like Pleasantville.
Nothing's made of stone.
But it's funny because that Welcome to My World scene, I always thought that was, they were going back to like his home. I didn't realize that was...
Oh yeah, his dream.
Yeah.
I know. I kind of forgot about the little dreamboat thing.
Yeah, and that was kind of weird, the dreamboat. I'm like, are they imagining it?
It almost felt
are these flowers poisoning them a little bit?
It felt a little like Nemo in Dreamland too.
Yeah.
So I get I can see where I'm like, it does feel like it's a ripoff of some of these other things, and then kind of pieced weirdly together.
Yeah, quilted together. Well, even the animation, like Stanley reminded me of Fievel and the cat from that, like his friend in that, like merged together. That's who Stanley looked like.
Yeah. Andrew watched some of it with me, and he said that Rosie really bothered him. He said she looks like a weird baby giant thing, like that she's too big for like
the age she's supposed to be.
Yeah, like the proportion, especially how Gus is, I guess. But I'm like, I don't know. I feel like little 5-year-olds, like they've thinned out when like a toddler still has that baby chomp.
Yeah,
you know,
and she could be like 18 months old.
Like, yeah, I was thinking she was like 2.
Yeah,
like
close to it,
close to 2 or something. Yeah, so I mean, she's like overly like cherub looking, I guess. Like if you want to make that as a complaint,
it didn't
but
bother me.
A lot of people did not like. Yeah, the character design. And I guess, and that's, Andrew's one of those people where he's like, oh no, I hate the way she looks. Like, it's weird and off-putting. And I was like, okay.
She looked like a little baby to me.
I know, like I said, that's what I felt like. It was almost like an old school. I felt like it was just kind of more old school kind of style. Yeah. And,
well, I mean, Gus's haircut.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, 94, he had his little rat tail.
I know.
I felt flat top rat tail.
I felt like he was very up.
He was a man of the times.
He was a man of the times. I also like the squirrel. Apparently, was like one similar to one that was in Rockadoodle, but this one I felt looked really like drugged out.
He was really high.
He was really high.
He could barely keep his eyes open.
And I thought that was a funny character design. Yeah. I'm like, what's wrong with these? Yeah,
the
flowers look like a ripoff, but the squirrel's hilarious.
Yeah, and I didn't mind the flowers being a ripoff because they had a New York accent, so that made it different.
I had enjoyed when they get out into the park when he's like, okay, we've had our fun. We got a GTFO, Rosie. Like, it's time to get home.
Yeah.
After going on their little imagination, like adventure.
And then had to take a nap after that.
Yeah. I was like, I'm so asleep.
The only thing that gave me a little ick factor was when Rosie kissed him and he was like, woo, like went up the clouds, and I was like,
I thought the same thing, but then I felt like too where he was like, "Oh, I knew like my flowers would like make people happy." Yeah. So I think it's more of maybe he's thinking, "Oh, maybe I will like it here if there's like people who appreciate this." Yeah. But again, they do make him so one-dimensional that it comes across as like he's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
And like it makes sense. Like. It checks out, but again, I don't think it's that bad.
No, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
It does feel a little, like, rushed.
Yeah, a little rushed. It would have been cool. Like, and I also thought they were, in my mind, because Gus gets turned, remember, like, into the troll.
Mm-hmm. Pig troll.
Little pig troll, yeah. I thought that was also going to have a little more at play with, like, the foreshadowing they seem to have been playing with. I thought it was going to be more of, like, it was easier to take his anger, too, and, like, maybe turn it against Stanley and Rose. Or, like, you know, I thought there was going to be a bigger climax.
Or, like he got taken by the troll.
Yeah, exactly. Because now he's going to...
troll.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going to keep him as mine, and then, you know, that'll make Stanley really miserable. So... no, but yeah, like, I mean...
And then she turns into a bush?
A peony bush, I guess, or something. Because they have the thing in the end where he's reading the newspaper. And then she just, like, disappeared, too, though. So I think she might have died.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully. I don't know.
Hopefully
there was some resolution to this film of something. Like, yeah. Because
she's just a bush now. She can't talk.
She's just a bush.
Instead of a vegetable, she's a bush.
Yeah. Or like a rose bush or something. So yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. I won't watch it again, probably.
I won't, yeah. The music even was a little rougher than I remember.
Yes. It was like all original music. You're like, I can tell.
Yeah.
It sounds all original.
Yeah, because the Welcome to My World is the only, and I only remembered really like that line.
Yeah.
And maybe a little more, and I've always used it like in a sarcastic way.
Right.
Like when something's going wrong or someone's like, oh, blah, 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 this, and I'm like, welcome to my, like.
Yeah, same. But I'm saying I say it on such a often basis. Yeah. I feel like often enough.
Where the Absolutely Green song.
An absolutely
like, I want to like it more than I do. I'm like, oh, like the sentiment's nice, but
it's very cheesy.
And apparently this was Dom DeLuise's. It's the first time he got the lead voice role in one of the films that he's done with Blues. Yeah, he's always been a side character.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
And this was his first lead one, and then it sucked, and everyone hated the movie, and it was the last role he did too.
That's the last role he did?
I think so. Like, yeah.
What? He didn't die that soon, did he?
I think it was just the last one he did for a Don Bluth film.
Oh,
like,
okay.
yeah. So, and then he never got to do, like, another lead role again. Because they didn't really do any more movies, I guess. Quite too many afterwards. It was just a handful more, I think. Yeah. It's like, oh. So, what is your favorite Don Bluth film?
I'm going back through, like, my memories of them because I haven't watched a lot of them recently. I'm going to have to... It's either a tie between Five-O Goes West and Rockadoodle, I think.
I'm going to have to say Rockadoodle might be one of mine, as well. Because I just have the most memories of watching that one. But Land Before Time was one that really stuck with me as well.
That one was good, but...
All Dogs Go to Heaven was one I did watch.
Yeah, I watched that one a lot as a kid, too.
Harder for me to watch.
Yeah, it was sad.
Because of with it being with animals like that.
Yeah.
Pebble and the Penguin's great as well, though.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Like, so it's hard.
I mean, he had a lot of great movies.
Yeah, and Thumbelina was cute. I did watch that one not too long ago.
I love Thumbelina.
It was still, again, I feel like these were more for a much younger, audience. Like, I'm saying, like, 7,
And that's how old I was when I watched them.
Yeah, and I was, like, 7 years old when I watched these. So, I think they're fine for that age group. And they still had some references during that time that, like, adults would have, got somewhat. But it wasn't too much, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe in Thumbelina people could argue with the Charo character. But I don't have a problem with it.
Well, because she said coochie coo? I mean, I'm not a fan.
She's got big old fake frog boobies. It's fine. All right, guys, that was Troll in Central Park. It wasn't quite what we 100% remember.
It did not live up to my expectations.
No, I did plug in, maybe some extra stuff that, like, enriched the story. And it sounds like it'd be along the lines of what everyone who even made it had in mind. They just didn't take the time to do it. So that's real unfortunate. But again, you got a toddler, put it on for them, whatever. Yeah. It's like one time, it'll be fine. Pretty flowers,
Right.
It's fine.
It's kind of catchy music.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to Swan Princess, since I realized I didn't even remember the correct movie.
Since it's the wrong movie.
Yeah, so that'll be fun to see. And as always, you can find us at Film Gazers on the social medias. And the Film Gazers podcast community is our Discord. And like I said, we've just been kind of doing our thing. Sorry, I guess this one was a little bit of a letdown, I guess, in terms of the film, of just even what we've read about it, what we watched. We're like, okay, this is definitely a kids movie.
Yeah, very little
It's so funny, though, what does stick with you, from these random things from childhood. And this was one of them for us.
Yeah, I just don't remember why I liked it so much.
Yeah. I think it's the idea of it.
Almost, the green thumb, I think, I just thought was really cool.
Yeah, and I think having the
green thumb and the stone thumb.
Yeah, exactly. Like
magic.
The enemies and magic. Yeah, the idea of the magic that they both obviously really were capable of, but we didn't really get that good of a show, to really see, like, the magic.
And I really, when I was a kid, always liked when you would, like, oh, there's a crack in the ground and you go into a whole other world. Like, I love those
those concepts, yeah.
That was my jam.
And I think that's how the Fae get you, right?
That is how the Fae get you.
And that's what I almost wonder, because, like, Stanley doesn't want her to go, Rosie. I'm like, that's the way they could have made it darker. Whereas, like, what if they were, like, Fae troll, like, where he's like, no, you can't leave me now.
Yeah. And then the flowers grow over the entrance.
Yeah, trap them in there. Like, that would have been kind of cool.
That way Gus can't get in there at all.
Maybe they just need to they're remaking everything. Fucking remake that. Flesh this story out more, guys. That would be a fun one.
Yeah.
All right, guys, though, we had fun looking at these definite blasts from the past, very early childhood. And like I said, looking forward to the next one. So with that, time to hit the Dusty Trail.
Until next time. Later, taters.
Cinnamon roll, roll, roll.